Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
Possessor, Uncut, the uncut version, the uncircumcised version of this film is what I watched, directed and written by Brandon Cronenberg, the son of David Cronenberg. A movie that I was recommended by to watch on podcasts, specifically the Slash Filmcast, as per usual. And David Chen was the one who, he's got a dark taste in movies, just like the yearning for self-destruction and pain is kind of David Chen's lane in a lot of things. And so, I being one of those people that like to dip my toe in things I will regret later, I watched it. I bought it. Blind bought it on Apple. The advantage of buying it through Apple, or I don't know if other services have this, but like the DVD days of the early 2000s, you get special features. And I think that's the kind of the highlight of this movie. I mean, the movie itself has an interesting premise. It's very slowly paced, very simple movie, not a lot of locations, not a lot of actors, but the premise is like high, what's that called? High concept. It takes place in like an alternate universe, 2008. So a time not too long ago, but a different version. In this reality, there's a company where you can kind of jack into different people, which are probably not the best term to use for that. You can take over, possess different people's bodies using technology, and this company uses that for eliminating unwanted people. It follows this female hit woman as she kind of goes on a couple of her jobs. But it's very like slow paced, but cut with super gory like scenes. Not a whole lot of super gory scenes, but when they do show up, they show up hard. And I'm watching the uncut version. The rated R version was also included in the purchase. But I don't know why I'd watch that. I already saw the uncut version. I wanted to see the uncut version. I didn't want this, this edited for weak-minded people. Like, if I'm going into a movie that has gore in it, I don't want it gore edited for the weak at heart. I'm prepared to go in all the way. So I did. But the special features is amazing because the best part of this movie, and what really makes the gore moments very gory is the fact that they used pretty much all practical effects. The only digital effects in this movie were a little bit of color correction, I think eliminating cables here and there. But it's there's a lot of effects going on in this movie, but they're all done in camera, which I love. I mean, that's the thing that I loved most about those early Star Wars movies. Star Wars being, of course, the most overrated franchise ever. There's like maybe 3 good movies in that entire franchise, and the rest of them are pretty dog shit. But the practical effects of what Star Wars did is what kind of gave it the heart and gave it like a tangibility to it when you watch it, gave it a weight to it, as it were. And this movie does a very similar thing. And I loved it because I got to watch the special features and they went through all of the kind of crazy things. It really made me wish I was a part of a production like that, because I like the openness to be creative. Like, the Brandon Cronenberg understands that filmmaking is a collaborative process, and he uses the fact that it's collaborative to make sure he has good artists working with them, people that understand where the film is supposed to be going, and are willing to kind of break the mold and break the rules and try new things. And there were a lot of things that they tried that just amazing. I mean, the film, the special effects moments, just all the effects in this movie were amazing. It almost overshadows the crazy premise of this movie. because the premise was good. I mean, there's a kind of a twist at the end, which made me like think that I missed something because there's a thing that happens in this where the female lead that is the hit woman kind of possesses this guy, and all of the possessions, they're very calculated tragedies. What they do, it's a lot of murder suicide stuff to where there's not a lot of questions being asked to kind of help cover up the fact that it was a possession hit. Um, so during one of her sessions inside of a person, it starts to get a bit complicated where the person and her, there's a bit of confusion and a bit of fighting over who's in control of the body. But then towards the end of the film, you realize that it was almost part of the overall plan. Like there's this overarching conspiracy that's going on that you don't realize till the very end, and it's crazy. There's this like horrific scene with a family that ends in a way that I was completely surprised. I don't want to spoil it like completely because I think this movie is definitely worth watching, and I that's a moment in the movie that really is. It's like aside from all the gory things, like a fire poker being stuck in somebody's mouth, and then they show the close up of the poker kind of ripping teeth out, or popping an eyeball out. Like there's some gory aspects of this movie, but when that twist happens at the very end, it was a punch that was felt more severe than all of the goriness that was seen, and it just I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. The one thing I absolutely hated, and I know it's the director implanted this in the movie because it takes place in an alternate 2008 universe, is the fact that everybody is sucking on the giant vapes, which in reality, by far the most annoying thing humans ever got into, like the most annoying fad that ever happened to humanity, was those giant vape cartridges where everybody's just blowing giant vape clouds. And most of them aren't even smoking weed. They're just smoking nicotine, like flavored nicotine. And it's just giant vape clouds that they're constantly sucking on. Like, you want to talk about the definition of douchebag for 2008, and I think 2008's fairly early in the popularity of vaping. I mean, there's still people today that do it, but it seemed like people were really into those giant vape cartridges around like 2012 to 2015. It seems like that's when the peak, not really 2008. And I could be wrong. Maybe I just didn't see a lot of people. Maybe it was popular around Brandon Cronenberg's circle in LA or wherever he lives, around that time that vape cartridges were super. But to see it, there's a scene where the dude that's being possessed is hanging out. He's at a party with like his girlfriend and some of her friends, and everybody is sucking on vapes. Everybody. And it's just like, it reminded me how annoying it is to see people just sucking on. Like, I don't mind the small little weed vape pens, but the audacity of these giant vape, that they're like the sound they make, the crackling sound, and just like the giant cloud of vape, just it just like it screams douchebag more than like a polo shirt with the collar popped on it. But other than the vapes being in this movie, which made me like less sympathetic to any character that died that was smoking weed, which I think only one did. Sadly, only one of the vapors in this movie died. But I would have been happy if like they all were suicided, suicided in that scene, but they weren't. They survived. Yeah, Possessor. I would recommend the uncut version. I would recommend buying it. I mean, it's if you're into special effects and practical effects in movies, whether it's makeup or set design or just experimenting with what you can do with the camera. I highly recommend the movie. I mean, it's got a lot of things that I enjoyed about it. And like it's crazy that like there's so many things about this movie I really enjoyed, and the actual story of the movie, it was like the least, not the least interesting, but it's not like number one. It's not like I'm not gonna. I guess if I do rewatch it, because I've seen all the effects and like the goriness of it, I probably won't be paying as much attention to that, and probably more attention to the actual storyline. But I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to what Brandon Cronenberg does next. I think it's a great thing, and I hope he continues to do practical effects, because it's a piece of filmmaking that is very lacking, and was a breath of fresh air despite it being such a horrific gust of air. It was like a vape cloud, a big gust of vape cloud that it just changed everything. But I enjoyed it. So check it out if you're into that sort of thing. It's called Possessor. I got it on Apple TV, but I'm sure you can get it, purchase it other places. I'm sure it'll be streaming somewhere, if not Shudder, when it does get released in streaming. Do you like to read? Do you like Kindles? Do you own a Kindle? Did you get a Kindle for Black Friday, for Christmas, for your birthday, for the holidays, for Hanukkah, for Kwanzaa? Did you get a Kindle for any reason whatsoever? Would you like to get Kindle Unlimited? What's Kindle Unlimited? It's unlimited reading and listening on any device. So you don't even need a Kindle. All you need is to sign up through my link, inspireddisorder.com/Kindle, and sign up for a free trial of Kindle Unlimited and get your read on. Either read with your eyeballs or your ear holes. Either one works when you sign up through my link, inspireddisorder.com/Kindle. Do it now. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/Inspired Disorder. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com. And follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!